Once upon a time, in a kingdom beneath the waves and in the darkest and the deepest part of the great Oba River, there lived a wise queen and her headstrong and highly spirited daughter, who against her mother's wise counsel will often swim to the surface of the river to catch a glimpse of the village. She will hide beneath the surface of the river at daytime to watch children play at the river bank, and at night she will come out of the river fully to bask in the awe of the village's night scenery. Her mother would always warn her, but anytime she is out of the queen's sight, she would swim to the surface of the river. This favorite act of the princess continued as she grew into a very beautiful young woman. This time, she would only come out between sunset and dusk. She would come to the river bank, remove her mermaid seal, and turn herself into human form. Then she would roam the town, taking in the beauty of life on land. On a fateful day, a fisherman who had returned late on his fishing trip met with the scene of the mermaid removing her seal to turn into human form. Derele the fisherman quickly hid beneath the bushes to avoid the princess seeing him. After the princess had changed into human form, she went ahead to hide her mermaid seal under the great baobab tree, not far from the river bank. Derele waited until the princess had gone far away, looking around to make sure no one sees him. He made away with the seal of the mermaid. It is common knowledge in the village of Owu that any man who possesses the seal of a mermaid will become very rich and respected in the land. Derele could not believe his luck, as getting a mermaid seal is an impossible task, even for the strongest of men. He stole the princess' seal and ran to his hut to go and hide the seal where no one will see it. When the princess returned to the baobab tree, she could not find her seal again. She became very afraid and confused as she frantically searched the length and breadth of the river bank and the small bushes around. Yet she could not find her seal. In despair, she started crying, yelling and calling out to the spirit of her mother to come save her. But her soul has been detached from the kingdom beneath the waves as she is not in her mermaid form. Hopeless and tired, the princess sat at the river bank, staring sadly at the stars in the sky, hoping for a miracle to happen. Not quite long, a man tapped her from the back. It was Derele the fisherman. The princess was scared, and Derele noticed this and told her not to be afraid of him. "What is a woman as beautiful as you doing at the river bank at this time of the night?" he inquired from the princess. The princess replied that she lost something precious to her, and until that thing is found, she cannot return home. Derele let out a wicked laugh and told her he is the one with her seal, and he knows she is powerless and she can't do anything to him. The princess started pleading, begging Derele to give her back her seal. He then told her to follow him to the village to collect her seal, but he will only give it back once the seal had given him enough riches. The princess, stripped of her power and having no other choice, followed him to his tiny hut, not knowing the fisherman's agenda is to forcefully make her his wife and keep the seal forever. Deep down the Oba River, the queen mother was deeply worried as no one has seen her daughter for hours. She has tried to summon the spirit of her daughter, but there was no connection. She summoned the old mermaid priestess as she is worried something bad had happened to the princess. The priestess consulted the oracle, and the oracle revealed that the princess is indeed in human form and is bound to another human with a promise. So it is the human the princess has brokered a promise with that can ensure her return to the water kingdom. The queen was not happy to hear this revelation. She is deeply saddened and worried for her daughter. The priestess assures her that the princess will return, but the time she will return is not known, and in the meantime, they will be praying to the gods for her protection and guidance. The queen thanked the priestess as she entered her chambers while the priestess took her leave. Days rolled into months and months into years. The fisherman still did not return the seal. He made sure he kept it hidden away where the princess will not at any point have access to it and run away. Then really the fisherman became stickingly rich and respected in the village, but yet did not return the seal as promised because he never intended to return it from the onset. He made sure he kept it hidden away where no one, especially the princess, will have access to it. The princess lived a very sad life and misses her mother and friends beneath the Oba River. She would plead all the time to her husband to give her back her seal, but he would tell her he loved her so much that he can't bear to let her go. The queen mother, having not seen her princess for a long time, fell sick. She became so weak and so sad that she placed a curse on all the 4 villages that surrounded Oba River. The river Oba serves Owu village in the north, Modede village in the south, Eletu in the east, and Ajemoroti in the west. Darkness fell upon the 4 villages. The rain stopped falling. The sun and the moon refused to come out of their cloudy shades. Streams dried up. Crops started to wither. The water from the great Oba River became poisonous to both humans and livestock. Each village summoned their priests, and the 4 priests got the same message from Ifa Olokun. The message is that someone is in possession of something that isn't theirs, and the 4 villages should come together to return whatever is not theirs that they took unlawfully to avoid the wrath of the gods. Villagers from the 4 different villages started returning different stolen items to their respective owners, but the greedy fisherman still refused to return his wife's mermaid seal. In no time, normalcy returned in the 3 other villages except Owu village. The respective village elders in Modede, Eletu, and Ajemoroti sternly warned their villagers and cleansed their villages of the spirit of theft. But Owu village is still battling with the curse of the gods. Now obvious that the perpetrator is from Owu village, the chief priest summoned Eru spirits. Eru is a fearful spirit that sends shivers down the spine of the bravest of men. The chief priest sent Eru to fish out this perpetrator of evil by visiting each household and scaring the truth out of them. Eru started work and soon enough figured out Denrele as the evil perpetrator. The spirit of Eru flocked Denrele from his big home into the village square. People quickly gathered and he confessed his sins in front of all the villagers, including his wife. The village elders asked him where he kept the seal and he described a secret room underneath his personal room in his house. Some chosen elders followed him to his house to retrieve the seal and presented the seal to his wife. The moment the princess touched her seal, everywhere suddenly became bright and the village slowly started transitioning to its former beautiful self. The princess thanked the villagers and ran to the river bank with her seal. She transformed into mermaid and entered the Owu River, never to come back ashore again. Upon her return to her kingdom, her mother was overjoyed. The kingdom received her with great joy, excitement, and loads of gifts. The queen got better in the next few days and she regained all the strength, hope, and power that she had lost in years past. Derele the fisherman was banished not only from his village Owu but also not allowed to enter or settle down in Eletu, Modede and Ajemorote. The king seized all the wealth he had acquired and shared it equally amongst all the households in the village. Owu village, cleansed from the spirit of theft and greed, thrived again as crops started blossoming, streams started flowing, and everything went back to normalcy, and the villagers enjoyed their lives. The first moral of this story is that greed has consequences. Dinrele the fisherman was greedy and he faced the consequences of his action, but he's not the only one that faced the consequences of his greed. All the four villages also feel the consequences of one person's action. So greed is bad. The second moral is that we should have empathy and compassion. Dinrele did not feel any empathy towards his wife, even though she was miserable because she did not have her say. But Dinrele could be less concerned about her feelings. Also, the last moral is that there is unity in progress. The four villages and their occupants all came together to fight for a common goal. So therefore there is strength in unity. What have you learned from this story? Let me know what you have learned in the comment section. And while you are at it, make sure you click on the subscribe button, like, share and follow for more. Thank you.